Hello and welcome to Sovereign Earth number 9 already. And this week we're going to be looking at the subject of acceptance, in some ways radical acceptance, but the beauty and the benefits of radical acceptance. So I can already see a few of you joining me, and you're very welcome. And it's beautiful to know there are a few of you out there. Thank you for taking the time and trouble and accepting me as I am. And so here's just to get us in the mood, in the right frame of mind. This from Lao Tzu. So this was written literally thousands of years ago. I think he was 600 BCE. He said, life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them, said Lao Tzu. That only creates sorrow. He said, let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. So here's a song and a chant in that vein as well. This is from John Bell of the Iona community. It's called Take, Oh, Take Me As I Am, all about acceptance. Take, oh, take me as I am. Summon out what I shall be. Set your seal upon my heart and live in me. Once more, I invite you to join me. Take, oh, take me as I am. Summon out what I shall be. Set your seal upon my heart and live in me. So, welcome anyone else who's joining as I sing Take, Oh, Take Me As I Am. The subject of acceptance is really interesting. It's really beautiful for me to remind myself of these qualities as I go through these weekly offerings, stimulated and motivated by the impetus and the desire and the will to serve Mother Earth. And it comes down to, what are the key qualities? What are the key virtues? We covered virtue one week. What are the virtues and qualities, gifts, the essence of life? What are the key things I have learned that I want to share, and others in history have found similar experience and wisdom? So here's a simple, this is a poem I wrote probably 30 years ago when I was not much more than a boy. But this is I remember this point of coming into an awareness of what acceptance really offered. So listen up, here's a poem, simple one. We turn the key, the clock, to wind, then find time turns all humankind. For clocks turn us, and not us clocks. It's time to which we are in hock. We turn the key, the car to fire, hoping that it will drive us far. And sure enough, since cars steer us, we're driven insane in the rush. We turn the key to log into computers, which should be our tools. Yet we're the tools in every way, for they drive humans every day. We turn the key, the lock, to pick, hoping that it will do the trick and open doors, instead of which, in chains it leaves us. There's the hitch. The key we need cannot be seen. The lock and chains all lurk within. The way to open up the mind is love's acceptance, then we'll find. The way to open up the mind is love's acceptance, then we'll find. So that holds good for me now, just as it did then. Love's acceptance, yeah, as a powerful tool in life. At one level, it's quite simple. Longfellow, the poet Longfellow, I can't remember his Christian names. He said, after all, the best thing that one can do when it is raining is to let it rain. But how often in life might I have resisted that? The best thing one can do when it's raining is let it rain. Sounds simple, and it is. Now, I've told some of you, or I've told all of you, it depends whether you were with me on other episodes. I've got this book of shinings, as I call it, a kind of compilation of songs, chants, and scribbles of writing and quotes from here and there. It's kind of a life book of guiding principles for me. Anyway, this is one a Zen quote from in this book, which I love. It says, "If you understand, things are just as they are. And if you don't understand, things are still just as they are." Acceptance is not passivity. It is a courageous step in the process of transformation. Acceptance is not passivity. It's a courageous step in the process of transformation. And that's a key point in relation to acceptance. A lot of people can see it as surrender, giving up, anything but. And that courageous step in the process of transformation accords with my own life experience, fully letting go into a place of seeming death and destruction. That's how it felt to me. Through a process of radical acceptance, it resulted for me in this deep peace and total transformation of my life. I mean, I'm talking about a period in my life where I lived in a yurt in the woods for the best part of 5 years. And this process of coming into radical acceptance was quite a process. And one of the fruits of that is that I'm sharing these Sovereign Earth episodes with you. I don't think that would have happened, nor many other things. Anyway, I wrote a short poem towards the end of that process, which sums it up. This process of ultimate acceptance, something I really only fully came into awareness of with the benefit of hindsight. I didn't fully realize it at the time. So it's only looking back I see it in its true giftedness. So this was written about a decade ago. I have relinquished. I now accept. I am surrendered without regret. I'm blown wide open. I'm stripped quite bare. I stand in silence, beyond despair. Reduced to nothing, I have it all. forsake illusion, embrace the fall. So that reflects acceptance. And there are others who talk of this. I think it's true for all of us in some way. But in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, interestingly, J.K. Rowling writes about, she says, understanding is the first step to acceptance. And only with acceptance can there be recovery. I think that's an interesting way of putting it. Understanding is the first step to acceptance. And only with acceptance can there be recovery. So she's hinting at a similar process, probably from her own experience, I imagine, and probably a common experience at some point for all of us, perhaps, to different degrees. So acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It's a way of deeply honoring the natural flow of life. So I want to share something that's both lighter and also deeper in a paradoxical kind of way. A child's story, all about for what I've come to call the loving craft of self-acceptance. And I think that's one of the keys to a contented life, the loving craft of self-acceptance. And it's an ongoing journey, an ongoing craft. So this short extract from a story about the Velveteen Rabbit, it's called The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams Bianco. I'd never heard of it, but my partner Fleur, she said, oh yeah, I remember that. But so it speaks to a time in childhood that we possibly can all remember in a different way, of how, when I imagine, certainly it was true for me and my 4 children, they all had a special toy, a cuddle blanket, a comfort blanket, or a little toy that was special to them that needed to get to sleep. They needed it by them to get to sleep. Loved it to death. And we're going to have a little story about that. And in a moment, I'm going to invite us to go into that space. But then I'll invite us after the story. There'll be a period of silence, just a short period of silence. Then there'll be a song, which is in the same vein, the same affirmative style. And then a little bit more silence, and then a poem by Walt Whitman from Leaves of Gold, which again, these things go together for me. You'll see what I mean as we journey. So what I'd like to invite you to do, invite us to do, is so all of us, around the globe, as from past weeks, this is what I see all around the globe. We're coming together in this beautiful moment, and this is radical self-acceptance. And I invite you to close your eyes first of all. I just invite you to simply close your eyes and to really sink into your body, deep into your body, your embodied self. You're being present to your body. And to come into your breath, to focus and to be aware of each breath. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in this present moment, I know it to be a beautiful moment. So here's the story. And I want you to imagine you're you're young, your very young self, tucked up in bed safely somewhere, with a really precious and loving toy, a teddy bear perhaps, or something similar, right next to you as you curl up, ready to go to sleep, but not quite going to sleep. But you're safe and comforted and warm, and you feel loved. And this may not have been everyone's experience as a child. Some of us are lucky, others not so, but it doesn't matter. In this moment, in this visualization, where you're in a safe and warm and loving place as a child, in your child self, the beauty of your child self. So I read the story. Real isn't how you are made, said the skin horse. It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really, really loves you, then you become real. Does it hurt? Asked the rabbit. Sometimes, said the skin horse, for he was always truthful. When you are real, you don't mind being hurt. Does it happen all at once, like being wound up? He asked, or bit by bit? It doesn't happen all at once, said the skin horse. You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily or have sharp edges or have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all because once you're real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. Once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. How could anyone ever tell you that you're anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you that you're anything less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your being is a miracle and how deeply we're connected through our soul? How could anyone ever tell you that you're anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you that you're anything less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your being is a miracle and how deeply we're connected through our soul? So here are the words from that poem by Walt Whitman, Leaves of Gold. I am larger, better than I thought. I did not know I held so much goodness. All seems beautiful to me. Whoever denies me, it shall not trouble me. Whoever accepts me, he or she shall be blessed and shall bless me. Whoever denies me, it shall not trouble me. Whoever accepts me, he or she shall be blessed and shall bless me. So I invite you to gently come out of that place of reverie and reflection and come back into the present, into the chair you're sitting in or wherever you are. Come back to now and this world and this place. So I welcome you back. So that's about radical self-acceptance. Probably one of the most difficult things to really do well, the craft, the loving craft of self-acceptance. But I think it's a key attribute to a contented life. And here's a couple more gifts of self-acceptance. So this is another one by Lao Tzu, and again he wrote this so many hundreds and thousands, hundreds of years ago, many, many hundreds of years ago. But eternal wisdom holds good. So he said, because one believes in oneself, one doesn't try and convince others. Because one believes in oneself, one doesn't try and convince others. Because one is content with oneself, one doesn't need others' approval. Because one accepts oneself, the whole world accepts you. I think that's really beautiful. I think it's so true. One more reflection before we finish with a song. And these words from someone called John Green. And these resonate particularly, these words resonate for me, particularly in this time of crisis, or time, okay, as fires rage in Amazonia and the first funeral of a glacier has been held in Iceland, and they've laid a plaque in memory of a glacier. And so here are some words of deep acceptance, which I think have the potential to give sustenance and perspective in this time. He said, nothing can last forever, not even the earth. As Buddha said, the cessation of desire leads to the cessation of suffering. The cessation of desire leads to the cessation of suffering. That's the heart of the Buddhist teaching. So when you stop wishing things wouldn't fall apart, if you stop wishing things wouldn't fall apart, you'll stop suffering when they actually do. And that's pretty radical, but I think it's really wise and true. When you stop wishing things wouldn't fall apart, you'll stop suffering when they actually do. And deep acceptance is a part of the key to dealing with what is unfolding in our time. And it doesn't mean surrendering and not doing anything, but it's the bedrock from which I am able to respond. So here's a song to finish. I step into the flow, and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I step into the flow, and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I'd love it if you could join me in singing this. I step into the flow, and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I step into the flow, and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. So, thank you, all of you who've joined me, and anyone who subsequently watches this on catch up or however they come across it. It's a joy to share this. It's beautiful for me to reflect and remind myself of things that matter. So we continue this journey with next week. It will be something about life's path. Anyway, thank you, a blessing, my love, my blessings, and all the hearts passing up through the screen, whoever's sending them, may that love return to you. It's been a joy and always is to share this with you. Sovereign Earth in honor of the earth.